Virginia Giuffre looked the world in the eye and warned that her life was in danger. If I'm found dead, it wasn't suicide, she said. Investigate. 3 weeks later, she was gone. April 2025, silenced. But Virginia didn't leave empty-handed. She left a dead man's switch. Encrypted, timed, unstoppable. When her pulse flatlined, the vault cracked open. And the fallout is still burning the internet to the ground. So what's inside? Proof, Epstein didn't die. He was extracted. He's alive. He's Mossad. The blackmail machine is running hotter than ever, aimed straight at the throats of American politicians in a slow-motion Israeli coup. And then there's the Clintons. Virginia didn't just name Bill as the worst offender on the plane on the islands and the rooms where it happened. She handed over the receipts, logs, photos and tapes that turned child rape into high treason. You think you've heard the Epstein story? You haven't heard anything yet. Buckle up. We're going straight into the fire. Today's video is brought to you by VP.net, the only VPN I trust to protect my privacy from the deep state. VP.net is built to block deep state actors from spying on you. Their military-grade hardware is impenetrable. Using their service also really helps to keep my show on the air. So please visit vp.net/TPV to find out more. Strap yourself in, because we've got Virginia's explosive message for the world coming right up. Giuffre wasn't just another victim of Jeffrey Epstein, she was one of the few who got away. But escape didn't mean forgetting. She stayed in contact with the other girls from his circle, piecing together the truth when the world tried to erase it.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
In Western Australia, she built a new life with her husband, far away from the corrupt world of elite paedophiles. Yet, she knew peace without justice was no peace at all. Virginia carried scars, but also fire. She made it her mission to bring the cabal down, and she did more than anyone else before her. Her testimony ripped the veil off the so-called untouchables, billionaires, politicians, even a prince.
Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times, once in New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
She knew the price, which is why she prepared for the day they would silence her. That's where the story of a digital dead man switch begins. When Virginia said if I'm found dead it wasn't suicide, she had already built her final weapon, a dead man switch, an unbreakable vault of secrets programmed to blow wide open the moment her heart stopped beating. And inside that vault, the smoking gun of the century, hard proof of a cold-blooded Israeli blackmail plot to seize total control of the United States, a coup engineered to hijack America and cement an agenda decades in the making. When they finally silenced her, the switch activated. And we were one of the few media outlets in the world she entrusted with the files. She chose us because she knew our record. We've never flinched from the most dangerous stories. Podesta's emails, Pizzagate, Epstein's inner circle, Justin Bieber's abuse at the hands of entertainment industry elites. Of course, we kept our promise. TPV released the first wave of a dead man switch, and it broke the internet.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch activated automatically after I missed 2 scheduled check-ins. I had it set up months ago because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I survived Little St. James, but survival came at a price. I saw too much, knew too much. And now they've silenced me. But it's too late for them. They thought killing me would bury their secrets, but this video is going to a few organizations I trust, ones that have been exposing the truth for decades. You know who you are. It's your job to continue this fight. I was 16 when they reeled me in. I worked at Mar-a-Lago, folding towels, cleaning lockers. My father kept the tennis courts immaculate. We were just working folks trying to scrape by. Trump, he was around, but he was never the threat. The real predator was Ghislaine Maxwell, prim and proper, smiling, promising to teach me massage therapy at the Pink Mansion in Palm Beach. I had no idea I was being fed into a nightmare machine. Epstein's Island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. I'll name 2 now. The first, a former US president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls, he was there for the island boys. Young boys, trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second, Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor, and we used to dread seeing him naked. But he didn't come to party. He came to experiment. Genetic experiments, human experiments. I saw him inject a young girl with something they said was a genetic enhancement. She was younger than me, strapped to a table, terrified, treated like a lab rat while they muttered about seeding the future of the species. These men think they are gods, playing with life like it was theirs to own. I'm telling you now, Epstein isn't dead. They staged his death because he was too valuable. He held blackmail on some of the most powerful people on Earth. Files, videos, confessions. They couldn't risk him talking, but they also couldn't risk him gone, so they hid him. Stashed him under the protection of the same elite who once paid him to supply them with flesh. And they thought killing me would stop this from coming out. They were wrong, and there is so much more to come. Hidden servers, encrypted drives, witness testimonies. It's all going to hit the light. This video is just the first detonation. The data drops are timed and automatic. They are going to people who can make a difference, and nobody can stop it now. Not even the law enforcement agencies in the US and UK, the same ones that buried the evidence I handed them, can stop this truth from getting out. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. Don't let my death be just another headline. Burn their lies to the ground. Make the world see the monsters behind the masks. And to any survivors out there, don't give up. We're in this together. They can't kill us all. Make them pay.
In 2025, TPV has been vindicated. Every story they attacked, every conspiracy theory they tried to smother with fact-checkers has been proven true. And those corrupt fact-checkers? They've been tossed into the dustbin of history, where they belong. Now, as Virginia's files claw their way back into the light, it's no shock that guys like Bill Clinton are experiencing chest pain. We're standing on the edge of the biggest cover-up of our lifetime. And the deeper we dig, the clearer the truth becomes. People are being erased by the dozen to keep this hidden. Warning, what you're about to see can't be unseen. Proceed with caution. This is not for the faint of heart. We're back with the details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is ReliableMedicines.com. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed in recent years, while the real cause for many illnesses and diseases continues to be suppressed. That's why I've partnered with ReliableMedicines.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. They deliver effective medicines straight to your door, such as ivermectin, zopiclone, hydroxychloroquine, fenbendazole, and painosoma, to name just a few. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to the type of medicines found at ReliableMedicines.com.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off by using coupon code RM15 at the checkout. Please click the link below this video or call 256-664-4170 to take advantage of this fantastic offer. From her very first interview to her final days, Virginia stated clearly, Donald Trump was never involved in the abuse. Every victim who has spoken publicly has said the same thing. Not a single accuser has ever pointed at Trump, not one.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Yet the corporate media keeps churning out the same tired headlines, the same recycled smears, the same desperate attempts to drag his name through the Epstein mud. Why? It has something to do with who they've spent decades running interference for.
Everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal.
Before we get to Virginia's revelations about Bill Clinton, it's important to stress how dangerous this material has become. Dozens of Epstein's closest associates have been turning up dead under highly suspicious circumstances. His final cellmate, Ephraim Stowe Reyes, conveniently died in November 2020, just weeks after speaking with federal investigators about Epstein's secrets. And it hasn't stopped there. Several of Epstein's most outspoken accusers also wound up in body bags. Virginia Giuffre, of course, but also Caroline Andriano and Lee Skye Patrick, both survivors who dared to speak out, were also reported dead from so-called overdoses.
I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old.
The 3 women aren't the only bodies tied to Epstein's dark years in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he was accused of abusing and pimping out underage girls to the world's elite. Joey Ricari, the Palm Beach detective who led the charge against Epstein and refused to look the other way, died suddenly at just 50 years old, after what was described only as a brief illness. Then there's Alfredo Rodriguez, Epstein's former butler, the man who swiped his boss's infamous little black book and tried to sell it to an undercover FBI agent. He served 13 months on obstruction charges. Soon after his release, he was dead. And the deaths keep stacking up. 2 of the heavyweight attorneys who helped Epstein skate in Florida, Kenneth Starr and Roy Black, are now gone, taking their secrets to the graves with them.
Well, the South Florida legal community is mourning the loss of a legendary defense attorney.
Roy Black was a nationally recognized criminal and civil defense attorney. He handled some of the most high-profile cases in the country, often getting his clients cleared of very serious charges.
The journalists who uncovered Epstein's secrets and pushed the story into the light, John Connolly and Wendy Lee, both dead. Lee's case in particular raised eyebrows. In May 2016, her body was found beneath a London balcony. Officials immediately ruled it suicide, but those close to her disputed it, pointing out that the 65-year-old author was full of plans and optimistic about the future.
Best-selling author and celebrity biographer Wendy Lee died after falling from a balcony of her London apartment. Some reports say that she committed suicide.
One by one, the voices that could have spoken out have been silenced. The list is long, and it's still growing. Virginia wasn't naive. She knew exactly how these people operate, and she made it clear. Her dying wish was that they would be exposed and held to account for their evil. Especially the man she called the most prolific paedophile in Epstein's orbit, former US President William Jefferson Clinton.
You want the truth about who spent the most time on that island? Fine, I'll give it to you straight, no filter. The former president, you know exactly which one. Yeah, Clinton. The survivors still call him number 1. Epstein used to laugh and say there was heavy competition for the title, but when the girls compared notes in the safe houses later, every single one of us agreed he took the crown no contest. He liked the dog leashes, thick black leather ones with silver studs. He'd clip them on our collars, yeah, we had collars, and parade us around the main house, barefoot on the marble, out by the pool, sometimes all the way down to the beach. If You walked slow, he'd yank. If you stumbled, he'd make you get on all fours and eat dog biscuits off the floor like a good girl. He kept a crystal bowl of them right by the bar, called them treats. When he was in the mood, he'd pick one of us, always the youngest looking, always the one who still cried, and say, "You've earned something extra special tonight. You don't need me to spell out what the extra special was. You already know." Then Hillary would walk in. Everything got darker the second she appeared. She didn't want sex. She prefers terror. She'd scream at us to get on the floor and lick up whatever mess had been made. Sometimes it was food, sometimes it wasn't. If we were too slow, she'd grab a fistful of hair and shove our faces into it while the men laughed. And then there were the nights she called the most dangerous game. They'd release us into the trees with a 10-minute head start, barefoot, no clothes. She'd be waiting in a golf cart with a hunting rifle across her lap. Bill and his buddies followed on foot with those electric prods they used on the yachts. If he caught you first, you were dragged back and degraded in ways that used to wake me up screaming. If she caught you, you didn't come back. Most times, she didn't even bother getting close. She'd just take the shot from 50 yards and watch through the scope while you bled out on the leaves. That's who they were on that island. That's who they still are. And every time you see them smiling on television, remember, most of us never came home.
If you just heard what Virginia's files say about that island, about the cameras that never stopped rolling, about the blackmail that's still running Washington like a puppet show, then listen very close. They already know you're watching. They already know that you're asking questions. And they've built an entire machine built to find people like you. Your IP address, your fingerprints, your passwords, your search history, your late night DMs, every click you just made. Right now it's being harvested, cross-referenced, and weaponized. That's not paranoia, that's their playbook. But tonight, the game changes. And the only way you stay safe while you dig deeper is to vanish from their radar completely. The old VPNs? Forget them. Proton? Owned by the Davos crowd. The same people who want your digital ID tattooed on your forehead. ExpressVPN, CyberGhost and private internet access? All swallowed by an Israeli firm stacked with ex-Mossad cyber units. You're paying the hunters to guard the henhouse. There is only one tool built for this moment. One that was literally launched in 2025 to kill the old compromised system dead. Head to vp.net/TPV now and see for yourself. No logs, no backdoors. Legacy VPNs say trust us. vp.net says don't trust us, verify. It's mathematically impossible for anyone, even vp.net itself, to see what you're doing. Every connection is cryptographically proven clean. If the feds kick down the door tomorrow, there's literally nothing to hand over. Zero. They walk away with empty hands and a warrant that just became toilet paper. This isn't just another app. It's the kill shot to the entire surveillance empire. The one thing they can't hack, can't log, and can't shut down. That's why for just $5 a month at vp.net/TPV, you get stronger armor than 99.9% of the planet will ever have. $5, one click, total invisibility. Lock it in now at vp.net/TPV before they decide you know too much. You're not just hiding, you're helping build the first open source people-powered privacy network that no intelligence agency on Earth can shut down. vp.net/TPV. Don't trust, verify.